Hey everyone, Kate Borrow and Fiona Pearman joining you this week for our Facebook Live, where we've been digging into this conversation around congruence. And we had the opportunity early in the week to hang out with some of our alumni from our Acts of Confidence program, get their reflections on this word. And I think what was really interesting, Fee, was we started to dig into what it meant to them, but also what would need to be different we had context around either a tricky situation where you were feeling incongruent or out of alignment, where part of you thought one thing and part of you wanted another. And it was really interesting to see what was revealed through just that one question.
Yes, we started to talk about situations, times where, I go to speak up, or I try and speak up, or I try and flag something that's important to me. I care about it. I'm passionate. I know I can see something that perhaps other people in the room can't see. And I'm aware of something and I try and share that. And yet other people don't listen. They don't hear me. They don't seem to want to take on board what it is I've got to share. And it feels as though, oh my goodness, I can see something pretty disastrous unfolding, and yet I'm not able to make a difference. I'm not able to actually warn in a way that people can hear me. And that can feel really tricky internally. It feels as though I'm not able to do what I think I should in this situation.
Yeah, I think one of the pieces here was when you were living with the outcome of that, right? So, a decision is made and you're asked to take action on something. So do the follow through. The decision's made above you, and you're now responsible for executing that decision. So the execution of the action feels incongruent with your beliefs or your, understanding around what is a good piece here. And so that's the context piece. And it was interesting when we dug into the question, right? Because what would make it different? It's for the decision not to be made. Now that led us to a conversation around, but whose responsibility is it anyway? Right? Is it your responsibility? And many of us have been in dynamics before where I've got friends who talk it's not above my pay grade, or it's above my pay grade, which is always interesting language in terms of responsibility. But I think it's something we don't think about enough in context of our roles, because we start to think about roles, responsibilities, authority in organizations. So many times we've coached, clients through this where they're frustrated, decisions have been made they don't agree with, they're responsible for acting, the language of, I now have to clean up the mess, which is where the frustration, is amplified or activated even more, particularly when there's people-related consequences here. But I think the opportunity, and we always talk about clarity creates confidence. I think this piece around starting to think about, yes, it's great to be passionate and to care and to be really committed to an organization's vision, and being able to step back and think about what's my responsibility here, and where potentially, and I'm going to suggest this happens frequently, where am I over-identified or acting out of order in context of responsibility?
This is the opportunity for many of us to catch ourselves in the moment of, I'm disappointed, I'm frustrated, I'm angry, I can see something other people can't, and to start to untie ourselves from what might be an over amount of responsibility. Speaking with somebody yesterday who's realized that, she's done the Acts of Confidence program, and she said, I'm just so free now because I realize this is my remit. This is my role in the situation. I can influence this much of the system with the area that I take responsibility for. But when I can see things going wrong in this other part of the business that I know about, I actually know what needs to be done there. I can see cracks appearing. I can see things going wrong. But when I try and step in there, I get all this pushback, and that was really causing me a lot of angst and distress. But now I'm able to say, actually, that's not mine for now. And that distinction that she got through the program has really allowed her to contribute more, to have better quality conversations, to be more joyful in her work experience. And I think we underestimate what this over-identification or over-responsibility is doing in terms of kind of driving us towards something that actually we can't control. And that's not that helpful.
Yeah, I think, there's so much laid into this conversation around responsibility and care. I'm going to suggest many of us over the course of our professional career are taking on more responsibility than the role that we have, or the authority that we have in organisations, and it leads to a lot of frustration. And it leads to a lot of feeling like I'm not being listened to, they don't value me. And we see that play out significantly in the women that we meet who are talking about coming in to the Acts of Confidence program. So I think we might leave the conversation there, knowing that the conversation we had with our clients on Monday, our alumni, was incredible, right? And opened up, I think, something that is a really valuable conversation that we'll dig into a little bit deeper and then come back to you next month with some more thoughts about as well. But I think that really good question, that's how we landed in this conversation around responsibility, is what would it take for me to feel more congruence or feel like I'm more in alignment? And when the answer was, well, I need them to do what I'm telling them to do, even though it's not my job to make the decision, that's where we went, aha, there's something to dig into. And that's the beauty of great questions, right? We talk a lot about being your own best coach. Our ability to ask great questions, dig in, be potentially surprised by what's revealed by those, and then to go a little bit deeper is really the opportunity today, but also the opportunity in our work. So great to be with you. If you would like to find out more about what we do or Core Confidence, head over to our Facebook page. Loads of videos for you to dig into on a whole bunch of different topics that we're really passionate about and experts in. If you like us there, you'll be notified every time we go live. And of course, if and when you're ready to go deeper with your relationship with Core Confidence, visit our website, coreconfidence.com.au.